everybody. The next project is disconnecting the brush hog, putting the auger on the tractor for drilling some holes for putting the posts in, and then we'll be ready to get back to working on the chicken coop. I also need to try to find some white oak. I know where there's 2 or 3 dead ones. If they're still in good enough shape, I'll take those up to the sawmill, cut some 4x4s. We will char them to help them preserve and last a little longer, and then put them in the ground for the enclosed area for the chickens to run. The white oak tends to last pretty good. For oak, it lasts quite long compared to black oak or red oak. It lasts the best. There's other woods that are better, but for what I have around here, that's about the best. And if we char them, that should add a few years to the life. Okay, we got the brush hog all disconnected. Normally the PTO shaft I'll leave in the sheds just so it's not out in the weather, because those are kind of expensive. I will clean up the top of the brush hog some, and it'll be good till next year. Okay, I am quite certain there are more efficient, better ways of storing your auger. Usually hanging it from the board is what I do. It's easier to hook up that way. I know they make racks that hold them for you. It might be worth the money that it cost, or if I could see how they're made, I could probably build one myself. But that's usually the way I do it. It's not the most efficient way, I'm sure. But, you know, I only use it maybe once or twice a year, so it's not so bad. Okay, I hooked up the drive shaft to the tractor, and now I'm going to hook up the drive shaft, PTO shaft rather, to the auger here. See, it slides on. There's a hole here. Kind of hard to do one-handedly. There's a hole there for a bolt, like a shear bolt. That way, if you hit a rock, or not if you hit a rock, when you hit a big rock, instead of breaking something, it'll shear that little bolt. And normally I'll have a dozen of those when I'm ready to do a project. Let's see here. I'll have to tighten that down later. But that goes in there, and then this little pin here drives into that groove, and that holds it in case this shear pin, this bolt does not hold it onto the shaft. This little pin here does. That'll hold it on, so it'll just spin and won't do anything if you hit a big rock with that. That way you don't break something. It's just a bolt, and those are cheap, and I usually buy, like I say, a dozen or so at a time. So I'll drive this in with a hammer carefully, and I'll tighten the nut on the end of this and check the gearbox for oil, and we should be just about ready to go. It's looking like I could use some new teeth down there. These are replaceable here, and it looks like it's time to replace them. I have to go to the farm store and pick a couple up. That will make the drilling a lot easier. Otherwise, if they get worn down too much, then you start wearing down the actual auger part, because that'll wear down pretty easy, pretty quick. You just want to use up the teeth, the hardened teeth, not the actual drill part. The drill part's more to carry the dirt and everything away from the hole. So I'll finish hooking this up, and we'll be ready to start drilling some holes here pretty soon. Okay, I'd say it's definitely time to change the teeth on here. Looks like at one point I'd even flipped them upside down. So I got a couple new ones. We'll put those on there the right way and get a little more life out of this. I probably should have replaced them last time, but we will get these replaced, and maybe we'll be ready to dig some holes then. Okay, I guess first step in our process is going to be hacking back all these weeds a little bit, kind of cleaning up the area so I can actually get in here to lay out where the holes need to be. So we'll fire up the weed eater, move some of the stuff out of the way, and should be able to get started then. Well, at least I got a start on the cleanup. The weed eater's not running very good, and that old thick ragweed is not easy for it, so I may have to get the clippers out here to clean up that last part of the mess. But basically, I'm wanting to get this little area here cleaned up so I can start augering some holes, and we can start on this outdoor enclosure for the chickens. Alrighty, we'll get back to it. Well, I guess we can put this on the list of hole augering fails. It shows you how hard the ground gets around here in the summer. That didn't even try. It's so rock hard, and I drove a stake in there first to try to loosen up a hole. And until we get some rain, we're not going to be putting any holes in here. And then after an inch or so of rain, it'll be all mud. So that's part of the joys of homesteading. You have to work around the weather and everything. But basically the plan is I'm going to put a 4x4 post in here, which will leave me room between there and the coop for a door. And then I'll put another post here and another post here where the little stake is. That'll give me 16 feet from here to the coop. And then I'll go out 16 feet over and then back to the coop. That'll give a 16-foot square run, which should be good size for them. I might go 16 by 20, but anyway, I'd say until we get some rain, that's going to be about it. So my plan is next was going to be cutting some 4x4s and burning them for charring them rather, for weatherproofing them or bug proofing them rather. So anyway, I guess that will be the next project, not putting the holes in the ground, that's okay. There's plenty other projects to work on. It was at this point that I decided to take a couple days off, get away from the homestead. I spent a couple days up in Springfield, Missouri, the closest big town to us. And on the way back, decided to take the ferry back across the lake, which I hadn't done in several years. So a few pictures here, just kind of taking it easy and taking a few days off. Thank you. Got it. Well, everybody, it's been a pretty busy couple weeks. I know I didn't put out a video last week with a lot going on, but we did get the implements switched out, got the auger on there now, got the teeth put on. The first couple times I tried putting holes in the ground's just too hard, but we did get a little rain. And so I've got 3 of the 8 holes augered now. We cut some 4x4s on the sawmill, got those burned. My younger boy brought over his black powder muzzle loader, and we shot that a few times. That's fun. Took a ride on the ferry. Those shots were coming across Bull Shoals Lake on the ferry. Been a long time since I've done that, so that was kind of interesting. Kind of a fun thing to do if you're not in a big hurry anyway. I had to sit there for about 30 minutes, wait for it to come to my side to pick us up. But anyway, all in all, pretty good couple weeks. Weather's starting to cool off. You can tell fall's in the air a little bit this week anyway. We got some highs coming up in the mid 70s, upper 70s, which is a lot better than 90 or 100. So we should be able to pick up the pace around here. So all in all, pretty good couple weeks, and appreciate y'all following along, and hope to see y'all down the trail.